All right. Now we know that right now we're kind of in this interesting space where the movie industry is delving more and more into video games, and I mean, being video game movies, I mean, movies being developed about video games has been something that's been done for quite some time. So go back as far as the '80s, I want to say, and it's been getting more and more popular. But a lot of the thing is most video game movies have sucked. Now it isn't until recently that we started to get better quality. Uh, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie was definitely a turning point. The sequel itself was definitely a turning point. Of course, the Mario movie was a turning point. And if you haven't seen the review for that, go check that out on the channel. Really enjoyed that movie, and I suggest everybody that's a fan and who has kids and generally like a good animated movie should go see it. But it's now that they're digging more and more into. We got the television shows, The Last of Us that just came out. We had the Resident Evil that wasn't good. We had the Halo show that wasn't good. So I'm glad to see that the movie that they're just out there now. They're starting to somewhat get their recognition, especially successful ones. The bad ones, no, but the good ones, yes. So there and going back what I was saying about the Sonic films, the first Sonic movie was actually pretty good, and I'm glad I went to go see it because I wanted to see the second one, and I really enjoyed that one as well. And a lot of it is just it manages to do a good job just being an interesting story, a well-told story, have interesting characters, and doing a lot of interesting Easter eggs that just harken back to those childhood memories of playing the Sonic games, one, two, three, Sonic and Knuckles, and just the generations afterwards, the different incarnations and retellings of the story, and just introducing these new characters and stuff, just grand. And now they're talking about Knuckles, who I actually really enjoyed in the sequel, and him having his own series. Now, Jeff Fowler, who directed Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 and is developing Sonic 3, will also be having a hand in this Knuckles series as well. Idris Elba, it will be returning as the character, of course, with Adam Paley returning, and as well as Tika Sumpter. Now, I'm interested to see are any more of the other characters going to be back in the film as well, because a lot of the characters I thought were pretty interesting, and I think it's kind of an interesting choice that Wade as the sheriff will be making an appearance and possibly having more input into this film too. I think it's a very, very interesting. Uh, but sorry about that. To close the door. But anyways, so I think that was a very interesting way that they're going to go with that because he was an interesting character, he's a funny character, and it's like, okay, well maybe they're just doing a thing where they're just gonna take their hands off the reins of the main characters and start delving more into the supporting characters, which okay, we'll see where they go with that. But also joining the cast is going to be Rory McCain, Ellie Taylor, Julian Barrett, Eddie Patterson, and Kid Cudi. And really we don't have any idea who these people are going to be playing, what their contribution to the series is. And this miniseries will be set between Sonic 2 and 3. And from what I end up coming across, it says Knuckles is going to train Wade as an apprentice. And I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means fighting or being a echidna or whatever. Look, I think it's an interesting idea to delve more into Knuckles. And I don't think Knuckles. Most people talk about Sonic. We know who Sonic. Everybody knows who Sonic is. Everybody knows who Tail is. Everybody knows who Dr. Robotnik is, and everybody kind of know what their thing is. And Knuckles is kind of like everybody knows Knuckles, but he's very mysterious. They don't really know much about his past or anything like that. So I think this is actually an interesting step to actually showcasing this. And I feel, based on just kind of that premise, I think that's kind of a waste of a premise. If they did more exploring, like how he came up, the trials that he had to deal with, which will kind of harken back to more of the Sonic stuff and not the real world stuff, I think that would benefit it more. But I'm interested to see how they're going to play this. Right now, they hadn't really said if any of the other people are going to be returning. Of course, we do expect, the main cast, the main guy, I can't remember his name, him to come back. Sonic, of course, to be in it. Tails, of course, to be in it. Possibly Robotnik maybe having some make an appearance, returning back to it, or maybe foreshadowing because this is supposed to feed into what's going on with Sonic 3, possibly leading up with maybe a Metal Sonic or more of the Chaos or Shadow the Hedgehog, which was actually teased at the end of Sonic 2. So maybe we'll be able to delve more into that. I think it's actually a pretty interesting idea to give Knuckles a spotlight. And I'm glad, like I said, Idris Elba, who voiced Knuckles in Sonic 2, was actually really, really, really good. Now, a part of me does feel like this is somewhat of a waste. Why make a spin-off show? We could have just made a movie about it. And I feel like we're kind of in this headspace where, yes, it's good to have video game movies out there, and they're exploding both in the films and the TVs, and I like seeing that. But do all of these characters, do we always have to have spin-offs? Is Knuckles' story strong enough to actually be put into a spin-off? I mean, possibly a movie, but I'm not sure about a miniseries. I mean, again, the story there is somewhat of an interesting story, especially what he alludes to with his past in the second film. But again, it seems like we're at this space where I don't know if they're going for this cinematic universe type thing, which again, there are certain stories I believe that can be told to have that, and especially with the interactions between movies and TV shows and how that they can basically reinforce each other. Again, Marvel, the MCU wasn't the first cinematic universe, it wasn't, but they managed to do something really, really interesting and pretty much turn a lot of franchises on their head. We see that now where you have the spin-off characters in the MCU, you have the spin-off movies and characters and stuff in Star Wars, you have the spin-off movie. They're trying to do spin-offs and stuff with John Wick now, which I have my thoughts about that. But I suppose if they're able to tell an interesting story, if they can bring back the characters and manage to just get that charm of what they had in Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, then I guess I'm all for it.